The results of France's legislative elections Sunday are a major setback for President Emmanuel Macron, re-elected just 2 months ago. The country will now have a head of state without an absolute majority, making its agenda all the more difficult to go ahead with. The question from Brussels now, though, is whether his own voice within the EU risks being weakened.
What is unknown is the role of the French Parliament in the context of European policies or in terms of the acceptance of them. Since we have never had this case under the Fifth Republic, an absence of a majority in the Assembly, and therefore we do not know what influence this can have on the positions of EU governments in the Council of Ministers.
If Emmanuel Macron is considered the champion of the EU, then his election reveals once again the distrust citizens have towards the way the European project is going. The far-right, predominantly Eurosceptic, gained 70% of all votes counted, and the leftist coalition, similarly anti-EU among many members, received nearly 32% of the popular vote.
The results of the French legislative election is sending a message, which is to say that Europe must currently be rethought. We must discuss it again. However, we should not interpret the result of the French election as a referendum on Europe.
The left had hoped to choose their own Prime Minister following Sunday's elections, but that ultimately failed. The strength of the French left is, however, impossible to now overlook. But even if this ragtag coalition of traditional and radical left politicians work to the French ballot box, it's an alliance that is less obvious in other EU countries. Some experts are sceptical at this kind of possibility ever working outside of France.
We see that in Germany, for example, having a coalition between the SPD and the left has not been done at the federal level. Also in Spain, the coalition between Podemos and the Socialist Party has not borne fruit either. In Belgium too, we see that the socialists don't want to join forces, or rather it's the extreme left that doesn't want to join forces with the socialists. And in the northern countries, traditionally social democrats, there is no real prospect of this kind of alliance.
In the end, only time will tell if Emmanuel Macron can continue his grand vision for Europe, whether he will have to take a new approach towards this unprecedented political landscape in France. Chris for Pictures Euronews, Brussels.